Okay, so I need to say every 2 years in German, or every other year. The German word for every is Jeder, and I need to make sure that the gender and the case fit. So this is 2 years, which means that I need to have here the plural ending, the E. So we say Jeder. The word for 2 is zwei, that's easy. And the word for years is Jahre. So the full phrase I need is Jede 2 Jahre. Unfortunately, the correct response is Alle 2 Jahre. Okay, then what is all 3 years? That is Alle 3 Jahre. Okay, then the phrase all day, every day in German is alle Tage, jeden Tag. All day in German is der ganze Tag, or more likely used in the accusative case, den ganzen Tag. But every day, you got that part right. Congratulations, half credit. Why? I have been teaching German for 10 years. I learned it in college for 4 years and 3 years in high school before that. I have literally been either teaching or learning German for over half my life. But there are still some things that I occasionally mess up. While it seems like this list is getting longer every single day, today we are going to be focusing on one particularly annoying one because I use it incorrectly a lot more than some of the other things I commonly get wrong as a non-native speaker. Today's topic is the difference between alle and jeder and some confusing translations that go with them. As you saw in the opening skit, the main thing that throws me off with these two words is trying to translate the phrase every 2 years or every other year. That's because in German, we don't use the word every in those phrases. On the other hand, it can be done if you switch up the phrasing a bit. So what usually happens for me is that I will either try and say jede 2 Jahre or alle zweites Jahr, which are both mixtures of the actual phrases. Here are a few examples of these done properly and how you can use them in sentences. Maybe this will help clear up some confusion. Alle 2 Jahre, every 2 years. Alle 2 Jahre reise ich mit Schülern nach Deutschland. I travel to Germany with students every 2 years. Jedes zweite Jahr, every 2 years. Literally every second year. Jedes zweite Jahr besuchen uns Schüler aus unserer deutschen Partnerschule in den USA. Every 2 years, students from our German partner school visit us in the United States. Both of the phrases that I just used can be translated as every other year. This causes more confusion because jedes andere Jahr doesn't usually get translated in German the way that you usually mean it in English. For example, jedes andere Jahr, every other year. Wir fliegen im Juli nach Deutschland, wie in jedem anderen Jahr. We are flying to Germany in June, like in every other year. While this example does show an example of how you could use this as an English and German equivalent of the same thing, the problem comes up in the examples like the next one. Alle 2 Jahre, every other year. Es gibt entweder die Fußball-Weltmeisterschaft oder die Fußball-Europameisterschaft, alle 2 Jahre. There is either the Soccer World Cup or the Soccer Euro Cup every other year. In this example, we have to go back to the phrase alle 2 Jahre instead of jedes andere Jahr, because we don't mean every other year in compared to all of the other years that are in the group about which we are speaking, but rather that every other year in the sense of even numbers or odd numbers of years. Similar problems appear with other spans of time. Days, for example, can be identified as every other or every 2 or every 3 or 4. For these phrases, we again need to use the word alle with a span of time. For example, alle 3 Tage, every 3 days. Alle 3 Tage fahre ich mit dem Rad. Every 3 days, I ride my bicycle. Alle 7 Tage, every 7 days. Alle 7 Tage gibt es einen Montag. Every 7 days, there is a Monday. Be careful, however, as you can say, jede Woche gibt es einen Montag. Every week, there is a Monday. Now for the really confusing bit. You can also use the phrase alle 7 Tage, which isn't different at all, and now you mean all 7 days, as in not one of the 7 days, but rather all of them at the same time. For example, alle 7 Tage, all 7 days. An allen 7 Tagen der Woche bearbeite ich meine Videos. I work on my videos all 7 days of the week. An allen 3 Tagen arbeite ich. I work on all 3 days, meaning that there are 3 days in a row and I work on all of them. Alle 3 Tage arbeite ich. This means I work on every third day, as in Monday, Thursday, and Sunday. There's also the noun der Alltag, which means everyday life or daily routine, and while it doesn't actually use the word alle or jeder in it, it is still pretty confusing that we have Alltag. Der Alltag, everyday life. Herr Antrim's videos sollten ein wichtiger Teil deines Alltags sein. Herr Antrim's videos should be an important part of your daily routine. Now let's take a closer look at some of the times when we would use jeder. The most commonly used one is jeden Tag, which means every day. Jeden Tag mische ich die Karten. Every day I shuffle the cards. Confusingly, you can also say jeden zweiten Tag, which is every other day or every second day, which I mentioned before and is usually translated as alle 2 Tage instead. So what's the difference between alle 2 Tage and jeden zweiten Tag? Pretty much nothing. Alle 2 Tage gives the impression that every 2 days is some sort of unit, while jeden zweiten Tag makes you count the days in order to find the next one. It's a very tiny semantic difference, but the real answer is there isn't a difference in the actual usage. And now for your bonus information for the day. Have you ever heard of Jena? What in the wide world of sports is Jena? Jena is not related to Jeder or Alle at all. It is, however, more closely related to dieser, as they both mean this or that. Jena is used in certain elevated phrases and to distinguish from dieser. Usually Jena is farther away than dieser. You might be able to point to dieser, but not to Jena. Maybe the following examples will help. In jener Nacht schickte die Königin einen Jäger, der Schneewittchen töten sollte. In that night, the queen sent a hunter that was supposed to kill Snow White. Bevorzugt das Essen von heute gegenüber jenem von gestern. He prefers the food from today as opposed to that of yesterday. As I mentioned, Jena is used in elevated speech. That means that it sounds a bit uppity if it's used in a situation that doesn't call for such language. You would be perfectly okay if you never learned to use Jena, but it's still helpful to know in case you come across it in a book. Let me know in the comments down below if there were any other topics like this one that you would like me to clarify. Questions like, what's the difference between X and Y? Maybe I'll take your suggestions and use it in a future video. Das ist alles für heute. Danke fürs Zuschauen. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss!